Hi, this is Jason from Effective Dashboards, helping maintenance and reliability professionals get the most out of Power BI. So welcome back to another video. In this video, I'm going to be talking you through the steps I've taken to add conditional formatting to this chart, or line graph, when these values here are below the threshold of 70%. Now this can be used for any threshold or any limit, and it's a neat feature that Power BI have recently updated to make it actually work. And it means that anything below this threshold here is going to be this red color. Okay, so let's get started. So I'm going to highlight the visual. I'm going to go to the format options and then data labels and values. And we can see we've got the FS button here that indicates that we can use conditional formatting to set this color. Now this button's always been here, but in the past what happened was the rules that were set up in this color here were applied to the total value of all of these data points instead of individual data points. Now I've created a video that explains this if you want to go and look at it. It's not really that important now because it works, but in the past it was a bit of a strange behaviour in setting conditional format, and it meant it didn't really work properly. But now they've updated this, and if you click on the button here, we can see that we can actually start to add some rules in here, and the rules can be added by using this builder here. Now I'm actually going to use a measure. Okay, I just prefer to use measures. I think you can get more control over the conditional format, and it's a great skill to have because sometimes you need to use it just to give it a little bit more logic. If you want the logic to be more complicated than can be built with this here. So I'm going to use a measure, but you can use this here as well. So let's go, and we're going to go into our table and we're going to add a new measure. Okay, so I'm just going to paste this measure in here that I've got earlier, and we're going to use a switch statement. And basically the switch statement, the first expression is going to be true, which means that any of these combinations of values and results that are evaluated to be true first will be the result that's going to be returned. Okay, now in this example here so far we've only got one, which is this measure here, which is the percentage of productive work completed is less than 70%, and it's going to return this value here, which is a hexadecimal value that's going to then drive the color that's used to format the data points. Now each one of these will be evaluated on a point-by-point basis, and that's exactly what we need and what we want. So that's the measure we're going to use. So I'm going to go FX here, and I'm going to go to choose field value, and we're going to search for CNDF, which is conditional formatting. Now if you are interested in learning more about conditional formatting, check out the course below, Power BI Quick Start Plus, and it's all about conditional formatting and setting up targets and setting up KPIs. And yeah, check that out, and it might be something that's useful for you and you might be interested in. So what I've done here is I've entered that value in here so that the output from this measure here, will drive the color. Now here's something that's still a little bit strange. So what's going to happen here is that the first value that triggers this this color here, for some reason it then goes on to default into that value or that color for all of the subsequent values. Okay, even though some of these are over the threshold here. So what I've done is I've realized is that you actually need to put in an explicit condition here, and the same when if you use the actual built-in tool for building the conditional formatting, you need to put in an explicit condition for both above and below the threshold. Okay, so I'm going to go and add in a second evaluation here, and I just wanted to show you that in case you're thinking, why is that acting like it is if I only put in one here? Because my initial thoughts would be that the default would be used if it was above this value here, but it's not. It seems to stick. So whatever value you put in here, it seems to stick with that value for the rest of the data points there. So let's put in another condition here for anything that's below. Okay, so we've got the second value here. So anything below 70% is going to be this red color here, and anything that's equal to above 75% is going to be this color here, which is black. Okay, so let's add that in. Okay, so now we can see that we've got these colors here which are below 70%, which are red, and the colors that are above 70%, which are black, which is great. Now, the next thing I want to do is I want to only show the values that are below the threshold. Okay, so I only want to show these three values here. I don't want to show these other values here. I think it's too much, it's a bit cluttered. I like to keep things nice and simple and only highlight the days or the months where this proactive work hours were below the threshold of 70%. So let's go in and we're going to just modify that measure, and I'm going to make it white. Okay, so white is FF, and we can see we've got a much better looking chart now. So the colours here stand out, and we can see that we're only focusing and only highlighting or showing the values that are below this threshold here. Now you might have noticed that there's one issue, and that is this here. Now this is because it's white, but it's actually shown underneath this data point here, and you can just see it there, which is it's not very obvious, but it's obvious enough. And it might be that's the case with other ones as well. So let's go into our measure again, and we can solve that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually make it black again. 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. But at the end of the black, I'm going to put another couple of zeros. Now this is to indicate the transparency value. Okay, so we're going to make it black, but 100% transparent. Now once that's done, we can see that that's disappeared and they're totally transparent. Okay, so the values are there in the background, and if you hover over these data points and you've got if you've got tooltips on, you will see that. However, they're not displayed on the screen, which is exactly what we want in this instance here. So that's great. Now it's not quite good enough because this value here is actually being obstructed by the line. So there's a couple of things I can do. So the first thing is under values, there's an option here under data label. There's an option here to have auto above or under. Now what you can do is if you put it under, it's only going to shift it a little bit underneath here. It's not going to shift it actually enough for it to be unobstructed by this line here. So what we're going to do is we're going to go and dynamically set this range here so that we've always got a little bit of space below the lowest point. Now I've created another video on this as well, which I'll leave a link underneath too, but it's pretty straightforward. I'm just going to quickly talk you through it just now. Okay, so I'm going to go to the y-axis, and we can see that the range here is set to auto. Now that's fine for a line graph, and it's normally great. You know, it's normally exactly what we need. However, in this example here, like I said, we've got this value here that seems to be obstructed, and we don't want it to be obstructed. So I'm going to, rather than use auto to set the minimum, I'm going to use a conditional formatting value, like I did with the conditional formatting to set the number or the hexadecimal code that goes into the conditional formatting for the colors of the labels. Okay, so I'm just going to add in this new measure here, which is going to be used to calculate the minimum value in this data that's selected within this line graph here. So what we're going to first of all do is basically filter on the all selected dates table. So it's going to basically return as the dates table for all of these values here. And then we're going to go, and once we've got that, we're going to go and use this min-x iterator to iterate over this table of values for month year, which is basically going to be each one of these table values here. And as we iterate over it, we're going to add this measure here, percentage proactive work complete. So we're going to basically end up with a table of these values with each one of these values here assigned to it, and then we're going to basically use min-x to return the minimum value, which is going to be this 21 here, okay, or whatever the minimum value is on the line graph. And then what we're going to do is we're going to subtract 0.1. Okay, so it's going to then just give us an extra little bit of space at the bottom of that value. We're going to subtract 0.1 from there. So let's go in and we will allocate that to the range. So we're in back in the format options on the y-axis, and then we're going to go and use this FX button here to add it in for the minimum. So let's go in here, we'll search for min, we'll add that in, and hopefully this will work. Okay, so we can see now this has been shifted up, and we've now got a bit of space, a little bit of breathing space here for these values here, and that just makes it a little bit easier to see, and it's not encroaching on the actual line itself, and just makes it a lot neater. One other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to just tidy up this value here. So let's go into this here, and I'm going to go to this line, and I'm just going to put in here target 70%, and under the data label I'm just going to change that to be name, not name and value. Okay, target 70%, just makes it a little bit easier to read. Right, okay, if you're interested in how I built this dashboard here, then I'll leave a link below to the video. Right, now one last thing I want to do is I just want to make this a little bit bolder, and so I'm going to go and do that. So I'm going to go into data labels, and I'm going to go to values, and I'm just going to bold that. Again, I think it just makes it stick out a little bit more and just highlight the fact that these are below the threshold. Okay, so hopefully you found that useful. Hopefully you've got some ideas on how to implement it and some of the got-yous, particularly the one where you need to put an explicit value for both above and below the threshold. Otherwise it seems to just stick and allocate the conditional formatting for anything after the first value that it finds that meets that condition. And a few extra little bits and pieces here around setting this y-axis, and of course you can do it for the maximum value as well if you find you need to. So thanks for listening. If you want to keep up to date with the latest videos, I tend to release one every week, then hit the subscribe button to make sure you don't miss one, and you'll get a wee notification in your YouTube account. Thanks again, and I'll talk to you in the next video.